Okay, now I am very frustrated. The Los Angeles Dodgers have signed outfielder Teoscar Hernandez to a 1 year, $23.5 million deal. In this video, I'm going to rage because I am very aggravated that this is the number one guy that I freaking wanted for the New York Mets, and he goes to the Los Angeles Dodgers, who already spent $700 million getting Shohei Ohtani, made a trade and extended for Tyler Glass now, took Yoshi Yamamoto from the Mets, giving him 12 years, over $300 million, and now they get Teoscar Hernandez because it's not enough that they already had Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman to begin with, so the Dodgers just keep on going while the Mets, they get their little nice 1 year, 2 year deals, these veterans, guys that have not been good lately, let's be honest. It just drives me absolutely nuts that the Dodgers, who, again, I always go back to it, in Steve Cohen's opening press conference, he said, I want to be like the Dodgers. Meanwhile, the Dodgers have been running circles around the Mets. The fact that the Mets, and the other day, I made the Harrison Bader, I was like, we got a little defensive center fielder. And I said that because I figured, you know what? Teoscar Hernandez, he probably wants a 5-year deal, 4-year deal, whatever. And the Mets, the way they've approached this offseason, they're not doing that. They're sticking with the short-term deals. But the fact that Teoscar Hernandez got a 1-year deal and the Mets weren't all over this is driving me insane. Were the Mets even in the running? Did they even talk to the guy? Because he was such a perfect fit that I don't understand how they were even trying to outbid. Because again, if it's a 1-year deal, who cares? If you already over the tax, what difference does it make? You might as well just actually improve your team. Get a guy who actually is such a good fit for your team instead of Harrison freaking Bader. You've got to be kidding me right now. Here's a guy who crushes left-handed pitching when the Mets need, could give you a 30 home run season, which the Mets need, has good enough speed to play the corner outfielders and play it pretty good, which the Mets definitely needed. This guy literally checked every single box. He's not 40 years old. He's only, 31, 32. I don't know what more you could have possibly wanted. And the fact that it was a 1-year deal and you did not get him is just mind-boggling to me because he was such a perfect fit for this lineup. You could put him anywhere in the lineup. You could have finally had some power protection for Alonso. And again, you didn't have to do the few-year deal. And it's like, here's a team in the Dodgers who are in the same league as you. So if the Mets actually are competing this season, which maybe they are. They've tried to sign players. Again, nobody crazy, nothing ridiculous. But you are going to eventually, if you're actually somehow good, everything breaks right, and you match up with the Dodgers, look at this team that they're putting together. And they're probably not even done because they are just going all out mode right now. And it's just very frustrating. When you have the richest owner in baseball, you just hope that you could, like he said, be like the Dodgers and just be like, you know what? Get this guy, get that guy, get this guy. They just get everybody, it feels like. Who don't they get? It's just absolutely crazy right now with what they have been doing this offseason. Again, just making the Mets and even a lot of other organizations just look absolutely foolish right now. They've just been, again, running circles around all these different teams. Because I'm just very aggravated because where are the Mets going to turn to now? Because, is Jorge Soler going to take a 1-year deal? I doubt it. Again, I thought he was going to get a multi-year deal. So I really just don't understand it. That's ultimately what it comes down to. I know David Stearns wants this whole, run prevention, things like that. Again, Harrison Bader and Teoscar Hernandez, it's not even close. I'm not saying Teoscar Hernandez is the greatest player. He's not going to win an MVP. He's not going to finish top 10, top 20 MVP. I get that, all right? But I'm just saying that here's a guy who's such a perfect fit for the Mets. Literally everything that they could have wanted, and a 1-year deal. I just don't understand how they don't get him. I'm just very, very aggravated that stuff like this, it just feels like it's continued to happen this offseason. And just overall, this is looking like a very mediocre offseason. I understand that, they had success in Milwaukee. They made the playoffs and things like that. But what I hoped was that he would use some of the Milwaukee philosophy and then combine it with the richest owner in baseball to make just an all-around very good team that has talented players that you've heard of by also getting these pitchers that maybe you haven't heard of and getting the most out of them because That's what Milwaukee does. They always have great rotations, always have great bullpens because of David Stearns' ability to find these guys. And yes, the Mets have added a bunch of these relievers that you never heard of. They've made some short-term deals to starting pitchers like Severino and acquiring Hauser via trade and signing Sean Manaea today. So they've been trying to make these little moves, but I don't necessarily want Milwaukee 2.0 exactly, because this is a team that exactly won the championship. This is a team that even went to the World Series, unlike Tampa Bay, who's a small market and still able to do it. So, I mean, I understand that Milwaukee had some success, but I'm not trying to exactly copy everything that Milwaukee did. I mean, come on now. They, year after year, had offensive struggles, and I'm kind of starting to understand why. Because if you're going for freaking Harrison Bader over a guy like Teoscar Hernandez or Jorge Soler or all the other guys that I've talked about constantly, it just makes a lot of sense why your team would have offensive struggles. Oh, you play great defense. Yes, so what? If you can't hit, it doesn't make a difference at all, especially if your starting pitcher and even your bullpen is mediocre at best. You have Edwin Diaz, who's very good. Hopefully he comes back. Hopefully he can do exactly what he did a couple years ago before his injury and be the best closer in baseball. You need Brooks Raley to be elite again, and then you need Jorge Lopez to bounce back and those other guys you picked up to all of a sudden figure it out. And again, the rotation, it's like Senga's good. Everyone else is very honestly. That's just what it comes down to ultimately. Being frank about it, the rest of the rotation is very because you know what, if the Mets turn around and they get even JD Martinez, who I like, it just isn't the same when you look at the age disparity. I just feel like there is so much more upside with a guy like Teoscar Hernandez compared to a JD Martinez or Justin Turner or a lot of these other guys who I just felt like Teoscar Hernandez, because of his ability to also play the outfield and play it pretty well, I felt like really separate him from the rest of these options. And I still am just totally shocked that he got a one-year deal. Now, one of the things that is kind of interesting is that the Dodgers also went with the deferral route again. Not exactly like they did with Shohei Ohtani, but the fact that there is a lot of deferrals in this contract. So he's going to have $8.5 million of the $23.5 deferred through the years of 2030 to 2039. So the Dodgers, they're trying to do all this creative stuff to not be too over the tax by moving money around and deferring it and spreading it out. Meanwhile, the Mets just make moves that are so bad that they just have to pay people to get rid of them, like they had to do with James McCann and Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer. Yes, they got good prospects in return, but again, there's a smarter way to use your money while actually getting players who you like that you could keep for, that I could get rid of, like Shohei Ohtani, compared to the guys who are 40 years old, like Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer. So that just kind of shows you another example of how, you know, Steve Cohen's Mets, where again, he's kind of the ultimate decision maker between all the different GMs that they have. They haven't had any sustainability, any stability, because they keep changing guys every single year. And I mean, listen, David Stearns, again, I've yet to be impressed. We'll see what happens on the field, but I'll tell you what, it would be a big surprise for them to actually make a decent playoff push or to even be near first place, because the Braves and the Phillies look significantly better than the Mets right now. That's just the way I feel, because if this team won 74 games last year, I don't see how this team has 15 games win better compared to who they added. I just really don't see it right now. They are counting so much on guys to bounce back, on rookies to be the guys that are contributing. That's just a very risky way of handling it. I mean, you don't have exactly proven guys. You'll have a bunch of all-star level talent like the way the Dodgers do right now. So really, I mean, they just look like they're in two separate leagues right now, but the reality of the situation is that they both play in the National League. And then from a Seattle standpoint, we'll see what they do. I mean, it looks like they might be moving some other pieces. Hopefully, if any of their starting pitchers are available, that's something the Mets should be jumping at. If it is Luis Castillo, use your owner's money to accept most of that contract, if not all of it. Or if some of their other young pieces who are pitchers become available, those are very good options too. So I'm curious to see what Seattle does to replace the production that Teoscar Hernandez was giving them, because again, he is a solid player and he does do a lot of different things. He's not one-dimensional. So if you guys did get laughs out of me getting very aggravated, make sure to hit the like button of the ballpark, slide to the comment section. What are your thoughts on Teoscar Hernandez? What are your thoughts on the Dodgers and the way they've been approaching the offseason, all the guys they picked up? Who else do you think that the Dodgers might get? Because, again, it just doesn't feel like they're stopping at this rate. And then from the Mets side, I mean, how do you feel about the Harrison Bader deal now? Because at the first time, I didn't like it. I was like, okay, they improved their defense. I guess, I get it. But now I'm just like, this makes absolutely no sense. When both of these guys got one-year deals and Teoscar was a perfect fit for you, I'm just like, I don't get it now. It looks like such a lesser it's again, it's just not the same stratosphere the way I look at it. It's like you're settling for just these bottom of the barrel, all these just former Yankees who didn't work out. It's just not the same caliber of players. It really is just not the top tier. It really is just the bottom of the barrel, it feels like. I mean, these guys, again, like Harrison Bader, it's not just he's bad offensively, he's below league average. Like, he's bad. So I just don't get it. I really just don't understand it at all. And then to make me feel better, if you could subscribe, that would be great. If you subscribed already, I mean, you know the drill. Just tell someone, make a Google account and subscribe to the channel, because I'm just too aggravated to do the whole spiel right now, because again, this is the guy I wanted the most, and I was like, okay, Mets not gonna get him because of a multi-year deal, but just the fact that it was a 1-year deal is what just makes me just absolutely livid. Because how do you not do this? How could you not do this? I just, like, if it was like, oh well, the Mets were right there, I'd feel like a little better. But the fact that we didn't see the Mets connected at all, we haven't seen anything about them and them being interested or offering anything to Teoscar Hernandez, really just drives me nuts, because he was such a great fit for this team. So be on the lookout for this Wednesday. My yearly Mets top prospects video will be coming out, so make sure to check that out. It's a video I do enjoy doing every year. So until then, if any other big signings happen, I will react. But if not, we will see you guys on Wednesday. Be safe, be smart. Let's go Mets. Figure it out.